Yo, what is the word? And today we have a video from Agent P3. It is called Why the Boys is Scary. Now, if you haven't known what the Boys is an amazing superhero Amazon Prime Video show. But it has a real life twist to it, meaning, what I'm saying these superheroes don't care, meaning that, they might not always save the civilians. What I'm saying? These superheroes have real life problems and they don't know what to be a hero. What I'm saying? Like they don't understand how to become that hero. What I'm saying? They don't understand how how like in a Superman it has all these ideals and morals. Well, let's just throw that out the window and just say, hey, you have this a superhuman's abilities and all types of stuff. But what I'm saying, you're taking all these drugs, crack and what I'm saying, getting money, what I'm saying, you're like a celebrity, basically. Um, and it's just scary. It really is scary. What I'm saying, that a person that has just so much power, what I'm saying, like Homelander, pretty scary. So if you have not already liked the video and also subscribed, that is very much appreciated. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it.
I had a nightmare while doing research for this video. Which was weird because I hadn't had a nightmare after watching something since I was 6 years old. But there I was, 22 years old, literally hyperventilating in my bed because I thought Homelander was going to get me. I didn't even watch an episode of The Boys that night. I was just watching one of those promotional interviews with the cast, and Anthony Starr, the actor for Homelander, was in it. That's just a testament to this guy's acting, how he's crafted a
Oh
character
God,
that
bro,
everyone
he's a top
fears
tier
and is
actor.
enticed by. And the reason why Homelander is so scary isn't because he's a psychopath with Superman's powers, but because he feels so real. He's not just some mustache twirling villain, he's a three-dimensional character with his own motivations and fears. Fears
Real.
fueled by the true antagonist of The Boys, entertainment conglomerates. Entertainment conglomerates are bigger companies that own numerous smaller companies involved in mass media enterprises. In other words, they're responsible for your childhood. Disney, Paramount, Warner Bros., Comcast. All of these companies created colorful characters from your favorite movies, TV shows, coloring books, t-shirts, video games, cooking utensils, fridge magnets, book bags, Lego sets, Funko Pops, posters, costume, ice cream flavors, and car bumper stickers. But why do these companies make so many things based on their characters? Is it because they love their characters so much that they're dedicated to making a crap ton of content related to them? No. They just want your money. Now, should this make you
X.
sad or scared? No. Entertainment conglomerates are a business, and like most businesses with a supply and demand, their primary supply is to meet the demand for entertainment. And as long as you're entertained, they'll profit off of it. But the lengths they'll go to keep you entertained and to maintain their corporate image should make you scared. Because these companies have done a lot of shady stuff in order to maintain their current status and have received little to no repercussions. Their
Crazy.
power is so overwhelming in both the entertainment industry and the real life industry that the idea of taking them on is kind of dreadful and hopeless. A feeling that's conveyed through both the heroes and villains of The Boys. One of the essential themes in Star Wars A New Hope is the small, unlikely protagonist in the form of the Rebels fighting a seemingly unbeatable and opposing force in the form of the Empire. The Boys has a similar theme with the titular Boys and Vought, the main entertainment conglomerate of this universe. Both Vought and the Empire impose a fear of helplessness to the protagonist and the audience, but where the atrocities of the Empire are on full display, Vaught's atrocities are hidden at best and subtle at worst. 3 of the boys have experienced Vaught's cruelties firsthand when their superheroes wronged them. For Huey and Mother's Milk, a superhero killed their loved ones in senseless collateral damage, while for Butcher, Homelander decides to... Oh, wait, my mom watches these videos. He
It was
plays
a
patty
demon.
cake with Butcher's wife
A
without
demon.
her consent and then kill... Okay, that doesn't sound any better. And the superheroes can't be handled legally because Vought protects them. This injustice that the boys receive is the reason why they want to go against Vought. to expose the company and its heroes for the monsters they really are. But their journey seems to be a fruitless one because of Vough's biggest weapon, their Death Star. Socially legitimate domination. A term I ripped out of a Wisecrack video to seem smarter than I actually am. Socially legitimate domination is the idea that the general public accepts a corporation or a person's higher status over them as morally right. That's why we get people defending their favorite Hollywood stars or basketball players, because they are devoted to the fact that these people are the best at their craft. We see this in the show with how the general public perceives Vought and their heroes. How the public can overlook the implications of Vought creating Compound B with a carefully constructed lie, or how people can still get behind Homelander after he literally murdered someone right in
Yeah,
front
for
of them.
real.
Because the public perceives these awful people as morally right, it creates an invisible threat to the boys, both physically and psychologically. In Season 1, Huey gets visions of his dead girlfriend every time he tries to move on. And in Season 3, we learned that Mother's Milk developed a serious case of OCD because of a psychological fear of Soldier Boy. Now, you're probably wondering, where's Butcher? Like, how does he apply to all of this? Well, this dilemma doesn't really apply to Butcher. Yes, he's technically in the same boat as the rest of the boys, but he actually represents another problem with Vought. But we'll talk about that later in the video. I want to talk about the villains because they're cool, or they're not cool, but they're cool to talk about. And I didn't write a good transition from my this first point to the second point, so this is it.
An asshole, amateur.
One of the great things about The Boys is how the characters are written. Everyone is so well defined that even if they do something morally wrong, you can at least understand their motivations. Even the villains who do some just horrible stuff. Like, I can't even talk about half the things they do without getting a phone call from my mom. The show makes these villains three-dimensional by not justifying their actions, but explaining the fears and insecurities they have to act the way that they do. The villains may appear to be in a safer position than the boys, but in reality, they are still trapped by Vought. A-Train, the a-hole that killed Huey's girlfriend, is a speedster that is written as a stressed-out athlete, constantly trying to maintain his position as the fastest man, a position that is constantly being challenged. But he's so far gone from his humanity that he justifies doing terrible acts to maintain his status. Even when he tries to do good, he ends up messing things up, isolating himself from the people who still love him. The Deep has an insecure image of himself, thanks to his teammates making him feel like he can't fit in due to his connection to Sea Life. I'm definitely getting a phone call.
Yes,
and thanks to
it
his
was wild.
Gills, he feels physically deformed and makes women feel bad to make himself feel better. Queen Maeve and Black Noir have also experienced abuse from their coworkers and turned to lives of complacency, going along with every terrible act their teammates do because they feel like they can't do anything against it. Well, Black Noir does, but it costs him a lot. Also, Maeve is really mean to Huey, like unnecessarily mean. Has anyone else noticed that? Like, it makes sense in Season 1 because he's messing up her job, but in the later seasons, when she doesn't really give a crap about her job anymore, she treats him like he killed her mom in front of her dog.
Hey, Maeve. Good to see you again. Glad you're okay.
It's like you wear a neon sign that says, raw dog meat, I'm a bottom.
Like, girl, he literally just said hi.
I know, right?
Oh,
Chaz,
God.
Get out of here. You're not in this part of the video yet.
Okay, alright.
Go to college.
I'm
Go. Anyway, Starlight is the only person who tries to do good in the Seven, but her constantly having to sacrifice her morals and well-being to do good leads her to quitting being a superhero altogether. Most of the insecurities the members of the Seven have are enforced by Homelander. Homelander, in many ways, represents all of the expectations of Vought while also being a victim of their practices. Homelander is considered to be the world's most powerful and beloved hero, engineered to be so by Vought. But because he's been engineered to be Vaught's perfect mascot his whole life, Homelander has nothing else. He has no social life, no friends, no family. All he has is his public image, which is why he's so hard on the Seven, because if they aren't the best at their game, they make Vought look bad, and in turn makes him look bad. And if he looks bad, he loses his purpose. Think if Mickey Mouse or Mario were real people. Like Homelander, Mickey and Mario's purposes are to be mascots for their respective companies, to advertise all the good things their companies have to offer. Without their companies pushing their images and keeping them relevant, they're nothing but cold, empty caricatures of who they once were. Homelander needs to be loved because that's what he's been created for, but he also wants to be more than a mascot. He wants real power by contributing to Vought in more meaningful ways. His journey throughout seasons 1 and 2 centers around him maintaining the love he's accumulated and receiving more legitimate power in Vought. And when he's denied either, that's when he goes berserk, because he's been taught that he can do anything and is entitled to everything. That's how Bot made him. They made a broken person that needs to be loved but will never be liked because he's just an awful dude. A product that constantly needs to be fulfilled but will never be satisfied. A monster that they unknowingly and foolishly brought into the world and who unknowingly unleashed another monster. The scariest thing about Vought is how they give these broken, mentally ill people a platform. A platform they use to negatively influence people to harm or be weary of others. Butcher is an example of this negative influence. When we first meet Butcher, he has a very charming but intimidating presence that both endears you and puts you off at the same time. Essentially, he's a
Golden Compass.
and I would never dare say that word without that accent. Actually, fun fact, Carl Urban, he actually gets stopped in the street by fans to call them that word. So that's how endearing his accent is. Anyway, but Butcher is definitely not a good person. His code of hating suits is borderline prejudice, but it seems justified because of what Homelander did to him. That is until Season 2, Episode 4. At this point in the story, we learn that Butcher's wife, Becca, is still alive and mothering Homelander's soup child. Once he finds
That
Becca
was
and her son
crazy.
Ryan, he plans to escape only with her, leaving Ryan behind. Becca knows Butcher well enough to know that he would plan something like this, and she calls him out on it.
You put me on this pedestal. And the truth is, I never knew how to save you. You were always one bad day away from pounding someone to death in a parking lot. Billy, when I found out I was pregnant, I went to Vought. I didn't come to you. I didn't come to you because I was scared. Because I knew that you'd chase after him and you would seek revenge and it wouldn't be good for anybody. But the hate that you carry, the warpath that you're on, it started so long before me. I can't.
When I first saw this scene, I thought this was messy writing to get Butcher back to the status quo of leading the boys. But after Becca's death, we do
Oh,
see that
that
she was
shit was
right about Butcher.
sad, bro.
Butcher has always had this darkness inside of him, long before Homelander's encounter with Becca. That was just a justified excuse to unleash all that untamed rage onto the world. And even though Butcher had a chance to make himself better by taking care of Ryan, he chooses to continue his vendetta because he feels like that's all he has left to do. All this is Vaught's fault, by the way. Vought not only creates monsters, but by giving them a platform, they give other monsters an excuse to act out like this. Homelander not only influenced Butcher to go on a rampage that put a lot of people in harm's way, but he's influenced others to do the same. And you can make the argument that these awful people would have already done these awful things with or without Homelander's influence, but sometimes a push from someone you trust is enough for you to take action on your urges. And while Homelander definitely is not someone that Butcher trusted even before the incident, he was still influenced by him because of the authority other people associated with Homeland, a position of power Vought put him in. And now that Homelander's fans love the real him, Butcher won't stop until Homelander burns or the world burns with him. I don't think I'm breaking any new grounds by saying that entertainment conglomerates are kind of scary. They own so many other companies and products and influence so many people that their power seems limitless. That fact is obvious if you pay attention to the news or, just have eyes. Entertainment conglomerates' influence can be a little depressing and scary to think about. But that's why I and a lot of people like The Boys. It uses superheroes as an analogy for how corrupt the entertainment industry can be, but it does it with outstanding writing and compelling characters. And it doesn't need to be preachy because people who are watching the show knows how messed up mega corporations are. They know when a product is being marketed towards them in order for big companies to make profits. But that doesn't mean you can't enjoy said product. I literally went to Disney World while making this video and I loved every second of it. Even if Disney World is the literal definition of a cash grab, there's so much love and care that went into making all of Disney World's attractions that only calling it a cash grab would be doing it a disservice. So yeah, The Boys isn't
True.
breaking new grounds by saying big money is bad, but the way they say it is really compelling. I know The Boys isn't the first or the best to say big money is bad and I need to watch more things, but they show how big money affects people in a very entertaining way. And I can't wait to see where the story goes. Oh, my mom's calling me. What? Hello? Yeah, I thought the squid was a little bit too much too.
That shit was crazy. Hey man, look, I mean, The Boys is definitely a top tier show, and I say you guys, I should watch it, man, because it's just crazy, and and it's like a realistic version of like normal people getting superpowers, and they just don't give a crap, and feeding their own needs, instead of saying like helping others, and that's why we got people like Superman. Saying that's why we got people like Batman. That's why we got people like Captain America. Saying there's so many others that can, saying we can just watch, saying like an episode of The Boys, and then, saying reset our minds on these fictional characters of Marvel and DC and be like, you know what? Um, Even though The Boys is a realistic version of superheroes, saying? We can just always look up to Superman because he doesn't do all that crazy stuff. He has high morals and high standards, you know? Um, it's kind of like a therapy. You're just seeing all this crazy stuff on The Boys. You're like, man, pause. You may read or watch, like a like as like a Superman show and be like, you know what? The Boys is a fake TV show. Yes, it exploits of how, these social conglomerates are because there are evidence of, actors and actresses being forced to do things and how the studios portray them and things of that nature. It's a shisty business. It's a shisty business. But you know, um luckily we have those fictional characters from Marvel and DC that can serve therapy sessions for us. And that's all. So if you like my reaction, please hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate you guys' support. And I'll see y'all next time. All right.